Ladies and gentlemen, what is the most fundamental duty of a state? My name is Dikhil Bhattacharya. I'm representing Springdale School, Dhalakua.
You have to tell your school.
Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, what is the most fundamental duty of a state? Is it collective security, law and order? Or is it to provide its members a minimum level of rights and dignity to unfold themselves? Is it not the duty of the state to give each member an equal chance to lead a better life? Free and compulsory education, my friends, is not an offering of pity made to gain some brownie points. It is a solemn duty of all nations, an inalienable right of all. It is a worthwhile investment into human resource building. It is an integral part of the social security net of countries, not just to ensure that no one is left behind, but to also create a responsible, capable, and efficient nation as well. No wonder India took the big step of introducing a corporate social responsibility law with emphasis laid on two things: healthcare and education. When you're drawing water out of the well, you'll be making it sweeter for the benefit of all people. Taking lessons from the German economy's miracle years of the 50s and the 60s, as well as Japan's path from reconstruction, into economic superpower status as we know it today, this gives us the immense sense of how a nation's human resource plays an important part in its destiny. For India to accomplish its dreams of becoming a superpower, the Right to Education Act will be the base on which the future chapters of the India story will be written down. Free and compulsory education, my friends, is imperative for nations to fulfill their potentialities in an equitable manner. It is equally imperative now that education be looked as an exercise of nation building rather than simply, say, charity on one end or business as usual on another. It is a valuable investment in the future. Please.
Right. So now in your speech you mentioned that it's an investment for countries. However, there are certain nations like the African republics who do not possess the right investment to in fact give to their children. So how in that case will they be making a equitable investment towards education?
Sure, there's a very common saying in Hindi. It says, "Paisa hi paise ko kheenchta hai." When you start investing in your human resource, it brings you returns in the form of rising incomes. And that is how the circle perpetuates itself.
One information.
Please.
The question here is great. We all know that education is a right. So I have a motion. Right. So education is a right granted, but what right now we're discussing is whether it is compulsory. Is it in your opinion right now that making education compulsory for a person who might want to go into vocational studies is a better alternative than giving him that choice?
Hold your horses. I'll just complete my script and I'll come back. Greater state control, along with sincere reforms, can give a better oversight over education at large, while having measures conserving schools' autonomy simultaneously. This can prove essential in dealing with the problems that all developing nations, including ours, face. That is, unemployable or semi-employable students even after education. By taking these measures, we can jumpstart entrepreneurial activities and growth in SMEs, small and medium enterprises, by making the ground right for them, which are engines of job creation. This is what we need, man. SMEs are already responsible for 65% of global net new jobs since 1995, with this proportion being ever greater in developing countries like India. Apart from this, having an educated, work-ready workforce can open up opportunities for employment abroad in greater numbers, especially to aging industrial nations. Yes, it is a pinprick on our hearts, but it is a fact that we have to face. Job creation rates can hardly match the ballooning workforce. Absurdly astronomical unemployment numbers. We should equip ourselves as and people to greener pastures. Even this is in our national interest. Remittances already make up 4% of our GDP. This can also be absolutely instrumental in Indian foreign policy and posturing in the coming years. The private sector is hamstrung by the need to make profits, and it is not their fault, but this leaves 115 million children globally without education. Denying education is denying a person his future, and compulsory and free education is the only way in taking these forgotten children along. Education is something that impacts all our lives in all its facets, most importantly, standards of living and health. In developing nations on Asia and Africa, this could be a gateway to better health and sanitation standards, as well as lower fertility rates. Free and compulsory education in itself is a holistic diagnosis cum investment that has the potentiality to impact human lives in a massive way. It embodies the path of knowledge, a flame that shows us the path of a better common future. It is in our interest that anyone and everyone have the capability to tread that path, and rather than be looked down as a liability, be an asset. Thank you.
Just remind everyone that all speakers are requested to announce their names and not school names. 1.